Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is thought to be on the top of the list as Trump's running mate in the 2024 presidential election. But she wasn't always a MAGA Republican. In fact, if you asked her for her honest opinion without it, going out into the world, she probably would tell you that she despises Trump. But she did a complete 180 for her political aspirations. So let's talk about it. So in a brutal profile on Elise Stefanik, the New York Times went through her political evolution, if you want to call it that, although I would argue she devolved. She started off as someone who was not in favor of Trump and then turned into one of Trump's most loyal, at least publicly, defenders. In fact, one Arkansas state senator, Clark Tucker, says this: I suspect there are a lot of Republican members of Congress who take positions on Trump that they don't hold privately for their own political security or gain. Elise, meaning Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, is the only one I know for certain who has. As for her third term, as her third term unfolded, the party was now firmly controlled by Trump, a populist president she didn't like or respect, a whack job, as she once described him in a message obtained by the New York Times. So I want to be clear, the New York Times didn't base this solely on, anonymous sources, people who don't want to go on the record. They actually had written exchanges, text exchanges between Stefanik and her friends. And we're gonna go through some of those examples in just a moment and just how egregious, honestly, the political class really is. Because it's not about serving you. I mean, they're supposed to be public servants. It's all about serving themselves. Farron.
Yeah, and I think in addition to Elise Stefanik, it's also a Lindsey Graham situation too.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that tweet, if we nominate Trump, that was floating around Twitter again today. But all of these, not all of them, but the people that we've seen make this crazy 180 suddenly oh no, I've seen the light. He is the greatest. It's so transparent for those looking from the outside. We see you, we see what you're doing, we know why you're doing it. But they just pretend I'm so smart, I'm just loving Trump and I'm gonna get all the rewards and accolades for it. And it doesn't quite work out that way. So far, Stefanik, of course, has kind of failed upwards, taking over that leadership role that Liz Cheney was booted from. But it's not gonna take her any further. And that is the thing that I think she's now trying to grapple with, as so many of these other folks are oh God, this is tainted goods. My name is all over it. Where the heck do I go from here? And they don't have an answer for that.
Well, it's interesting because since January 6th, and since members of the Republican Party have slowly but surely started to turn on Trump, Elise Stefanik has decided to double down. To me, it's clear that she's calculated that he is still the leader of the Republican Party and has a future as the leader of the Republican Party. As the New York Times writes, Stefanik has only doubled down, betting that her alliance with Trump will carry her further still to a job in his cabinet, perhaps, or even a slot as his running mate in 2024. And there's a lot of rumors about that in the right-wing space. In November, even before Trump made his bid for re-election official, she became one of the few senior Republicans to endorse him. Republican voters determine who is the leader of the Republican Party, and it's very clear President Trump is the leader of the Republican Party, she said. Now, 2 weeks after the just insanely tragic and gruesome shooting at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, she went on to essentially accuse the victims. She didn't, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. She didn't accuse the victims. The shooter in that case accused the victims of trying to replace white people in the country. It was a racially motivated shooting in a predominantly black neighborhood at a grocery store that mostly black residents in the area shop at. It was chosen for that reason. And instead of speaking out against it aggressively, Stefanik endorsed Carl Palladino, a developer and Trump friend running for Congress, who had suggested online that the Buffalo grocery store massacre might have been a false flag operation meant to help Democrats revoke the Second Amendment. Within days of Stefanik's endorsement, audio surfaced of him praising Hitler as the kind of leader we need today. So she went from, I am a moderate Republican who was, mentored by Paul Ryan of all people. Paul Ryan now calls her a disappointment, one of the biggest disappointments in his political career. She went from moderate to now endorsing people like Palladino, who praises Hitler and makes excuses for an insanely gruesome shooting that took place, a racially motivated shooting. And in August of 2015, she told a New York radio station that Trump was insulting to women and that his candidacy would hurt the party's efforts to attract female voters. Like, you see the 180 happening in real time for anyone paying close attention. And Farron, my question is, does this matter at all for the Trump supporters? Do they ever look back at a politician's history to determine whether or not this individual is actually loyal to whatever cause they're pushing for?
I think it's kind of the same way a missionary would go and try to recruit people into a religion. So once you finally get them hooked, once they say, yes, I will accept your God as the God, nothing that person did prior to that matters. It's all, you've got a new life now, you've seen the light, you are born again. And you really have to apply that to some of these Trump people because they have become born again Trump supporters. So all of these past statements, none of that matters. If they can show that they have been loyal, ever since their conversion, we'll call it, then they're in good standing. And so it's the cult mentality. Part of that is with it as well. As long as you accept my guy, I will accept you. And I want to bring up Matt Gaetz again, because remember a couple years ago, Gaetz, I forget what package he voted against, but it was something Trump wanted. It was to limit military power. Trump was furious. The MAGA people were furious at Gaetz. It took him months to get back on Trump's good graces again. And Stefanik and many other Republicans saw that and they realized, okay, I can't even step out of line for one moment without getting ostracized from this community. So I know what I have to do. They're all working from the same playbook. They've seen the same things we have. And that's who they are now. And if it costs them in the future, good. I hope it does. But they think they're just riding this nice wave all the way to prosperity, I guess.
I think the born again Christian comparison is such a good one because, even if it's clearly obvious, as is the case with Stefanik, that this is just self-interest, she's motivated by her own, personal objectives in her career and stuff. They don't care. As long as you're willing to do the 180 and continue promoting Trump the way that they would expect and want from you, then they'll give you a green light. So we'll see how it plays out for Stefanik, but she better be careful what she wishes for, because maybe she should have a conversation with Mike Pence about what it's like to be Trump's vice president or running mate for that matter. There's no winning with Trump, even if you're as loyal as you possibly can be. All it takes is one perceived slight and Trump will turn on you in a second. He's still going after Mitch McConnell, and Mitch McConnell helped him confirm so many of his judges. It's insane. So